call us to order. Welcome everybody. Especially want to welcome, I see sitting back there in the, like a Baptist in the back row, Chairman Eversole. Thank you for being here tonight.
I'm Baptist and just fine.
Ms. Ford.
Chairman Smith,
Here.
Mrs. Black,
Here.
Mr. Connor,
Here.
Mr. Groan, Mrs. Jones,
Here.
Mr. King,
Here.
Mr. Perez,
Here.
Mrs. Faye Robinson,
Here.
Mrs. Tiffany Robinson, Mrs. Thurman,
Here.
Dr. Wingate,
Here.
Superintendent Dr. Robertson.
Here.
Okay, Miss Cammie Mitchell, thank you for coming.
Good evening. I'm pleasure to be here and to represent the north end of the county and to represent Allen Elementary. I wanted to speak about our veterans and how our veterans, they are the backbone of this country. Without them, there would be no United States of America, no life, no liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and no way to ensure that our country will continue to be the land of opportunity it has been known to be. Veterans have protected our rights as Americans and made the dreams of our forefathers possible. War, although horrid, is inevitable within humanity, and our future veterans will be there to protect our blessed American land and values. Throughout history, our veterans have put their lives on hold and at risk to protect our country. When a war starts, many are afraid. Our veterans were afraid as well, but they answered the call of duty and rose up to fight for our nation. Many had to endure hunger, loss, pain, and desperation, but still they fought. They fought with a purpose, willing to give that ultimate sacrifice. Though some are now old and frail, suffering from PTSD, or just trying to fit back into society, we acknowledge their service and display our gratitude as much as possible. As public education stakeholders, we need not to forget these men and women who have fought for our freedoms and have ensured that every child born is able to receive an education. Please stand as we pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Anybody that's a veteran, just stand up and let's honor you. I bet we've got some in here. Thank you. Okay, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Ford?
Mrs. Black,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Faye Robinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Thurman,
Yes.
Dr. Wingate,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Coach James, I think we got some youngins to recognize.
Absolutely, we got some adults too. This is a big night. Chairman Smith and distinguished board members, I love coming here before you guys and celebrating all the great things that we've got going on in not just education but athletics in Hamilton County schools. So tonight we are honored to have the first ever Tennessee Middle School state champion tennis team from Hamilton County here with us. I'm going to bring them up. They're from Hickson Middle School. They are in, they're the board member. I'm going to make sure I get this. I think I messed this up one night, but District 3 from the North River Learning Community, the Hickson Wildcats. Gentlemen, if you would come up. I'm going to recognize you one at a time. So, Stephen stayed out here. So I'm going to introduce you individually. First of all, let me, as a district athlete director, tell you how very proud we are of you. And, there was some concerns about going to a new schedule that provided us the opportunity to compete in state championships. And I think this right here is just a testimony of why it was a great move for our county, but more importantly for you guys, because you did have that opportunity to compete and win. So our admiration goes out to you. I'm going to introduce you. First is Brock Beach. Brock, so if you will kind of step forward and stand in front of the Hamilton County School sign. Going to be joined by Sawyer Bledsoe. And I'm going to make sure I say this right, Samuel Bullock. They have a gentleman that is actually playing basketball over at East Ham tonight that couldn't be here. Mr. Campbell Inman is not here with us. And then we have Liam Patton. And I saved this best for last. I want to make sure I say Alex Martin. So these are your state champion tennis team members. And we couldn't go wrong. I've got one more individual to recognize. Their coach was Coach David Phillips. Coach Phillips, I want you to come on up and want to recognize you as well, because without your hard work and dedication, these young men would not been where they were supposed to be. All right. Okay, we've got a photo opportunity, guys. Make sure you smile. I'm very proud of you guys. Thank you so much. Next board meeting, just give you guys a heads up. We're going to probably have to do a little extended time for exemplars. We have 4 more state champion teams to introduce in Hamilton County Schools next month. So just kind of a little preemptive plug there for the great things. Plus, we also have some more AF Bridges Award winners for TWAA exemplary schools. So we'll share that next month. But moving on tonight. Annually, the TWAA gives a series of awards known as the AF Bridges Sportsmanship Awards. We are the East Regional District, which encompasses all the way up into Knoxville, probably as far west as Cookeville, back into our region. We have 4 award recipients for annual AF Bridges leadership or sportsmanship winners. I'm just going to read this little piece here that kind of describes. It says the AF Bridges Award program includes divisional awards for schools that have shown exemplary sportsmanship and awards for individuals in the categories of School Administrator of the Year, School Principal of the Year, Athletic Director of the Year, Female and Male Coach of the Year, Official of the Year, and Contributor of the Year. One gentleman I'm going to mention first that is not on the agenda. This was a last-minute entry by Steve Henry, but Robert Talaska was the Contributor of the Year from Saudi Daisy High School. Robert has put 42-plus years on the sidelines and into the baseball program up there as a manager. I was told Robert could not be here tonight or would not be here tonight, so that's the reason he wasn't on the agenda. Our award winners in order for Principal of the Year, he cannot be here as well, but he did call today and sent his apologies for not being able to attend. But from East Hamilton High School was Mr. Brent Eller. But we do have 2 other award winners present with us. Is the Female Coach of the Year for the whole entire East region was longtime friend of mine, East Ridge graduate. We graduated together. We've both been in education for 30-plus years. Norma is a very successful softball coach, has won state titles, just a great all-around person who loves kids and works her tail off. But without further ado, the Female Coach of the Year, Miss Norma Nelson from East Hamilton High School. As a side note, these individuals were given an award by the TWSAA Monday afternoon at Hardin Valley High School up in Knoxville. So they've done double duty this week. The last AF Bridges Award winner that we have is a guy that I haven't known very long. Apparently, we have ran in the same circles for many, many years. But when I start looking at our ADs in our county and who really just gets after it, does everything that they can do to make their athletic program the best that they can be, this guy is one of the first names that pops up. And he's done a great job up at Etowah High School for years. He's been in education for almost as long as I have. But the athletic director of the year for the East Regional is Mr. Jay Williams from Etowah High School. The last award I'm just going to mention, LeVar is unable to attend. He was actually taking his administrator certification test today. He just walked out of it. He texted me, said he's in traffic. I didn't think he was going to make it, so unless he comes running through the door at the last minute, I just want to, he is a recipient of a TWSAA Distinguished Service Award. And that just is basically awards that are given throughout the state. I think they give a total of about 28 a year to individuals who have gone above and beyond over the course of their career. To know LeVar is to love him. He has a genuine love in his heart for kids. He works, he coaches, he mops, he hauls kids. Well, he doesn't haul kids because that's not allowed by policy. But he truly loves the kids in the community that he serves. He does not. He does, but he truly loves the kids. He truly loves the kids in the community he serves. And if you think about Brainerd High School, you think about LeVar Brown. So even though he's not here today, we'll make sure he's got a good laugh tonight. Thank you, and you guys have a great evening. All right, see you next month.
Thank you, Coach James. Thank you for your work all across the district. Thank you. I think I saw Commissioner Gino Bennett slip in back there. I mean Shipley, I'm sorry. Thank you for coming, Commissioner. Okay, that takes us down to our disclaimer. So we'll start with Rhonda and work our way down.
Okay. I declare that I have a relative who works for the school system and the board's vote on budget policies may have an effect on my relative's employment. Even so, I hereby certify that I will cast my vote in the best interest of the school system.
I declare that I have I declare that I have relatives who work for the school system and that the board's vote on budget, policies, etc. may have an effect on my relative's employment. Even so, I hereby certify that I will cast my vote in the best interest of the school system.
I declare that I have relatives who work for the school system and that the board's vote on all items may have an effect on my relative's employment. Even so, I hereby certify that I will cast my vote in the best interest of the school system.
I declare that I have a relative who works for the school system and that the board's vote on budget policies, etc., may have an effect on my relative's employment. Even so, I hereby certify that I will cast my vote in the best interest of the school system.
I declare that I have a relative who works for the school system and that the board's vote on budget policies, etc., may have an effect on my relative's employment. Even so, I hereby certify that I will cast my vote in the best interest of the school system.
I declare that I have a relative who works for the school system and that the board's vote may have an effect on my relative's employment. Even so, I hereby certify that I will cast my vote in the best interest of the school system.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I'm sorry, who?
Okay.
And who seconded? Thank you.
Mr. Crump, right. Okay, any items that we need to pull? Okay, Ms. Ford?
Joe?
Oh, you got one?
No, I'm gonna pull 7D3A, Fostering Diverse Schools Grant.
Seven D3A. Okay, any other items to be pulled? Okay, Ms. Ford?
Mrs. Black,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Fay Robinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Thurman,
Yes.
Dr. Wingate,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Thurman?
Okay, I know that we discussed this some during the agenda session, but I will be I wanted to pull this so I could vote against it. I'm just afraid that this is just a precursor to, since it's about transportation, to get into more busing and the system, we just cannot afford it. So while we're getting a grant for $200,000, I'm just afraid, or 200 and whatever it was, 50,000, whatever the grant is for. It's for 2 years to do a study on, one thing that they're going to do a study on is the transportation to make sure our schools that are diverse and things like that. And I just don't like that because I know we're not going to be, and it's going to end up costing us a whole lot more money because these people come in to find things. They always manage to find something we're doing wrong. And so I'm just pull it so I could vote against it. Thank you.
Okay. So motion to approve this item?
I move to call for the question and approve the item.
Second.
Any more discussion? Ms. Ford?
Mrs. Black,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Fay Robinson,
Yes, provided it's reevaluated and not continued.
Mrs. Thurman,
No.
Dr. Wingate,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Okay, that takes us down to board matters. New job classifications. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Hold on just a minute. Is this the?
Any discussion?
Yep.
You're lit up there, Ms. Thurman.
Yeah, that's, is this for the?
This is
the
one of the
project
positions is
manager?
the grant that you just pulled.
That's right.
And then there's also the school violence prevention grant with the safety officers and then just the adjustment
Yeah.
to job descriptions of the others.
Okay, well, this, this job description, this project manager for the comprehensive socio-economic diversity plan, yeah, that's, are we gonna vote on these individually? Is that how we're gonna do it, or voting on them all at once?
They're on there together.
They're all together as a thing, so we can't vote, so if we're gonna vote against them, we have to vote against all of them? That's not right.
Moving Mr. Bennett to.
Pleasure of the board. It's before the board as one item. If you wanted to separate it out in your motion, you certainly can.
Okay, I would like to make the motion that we vote on these
Well,
individually.
actually, I'm sorry, there's a motion on the table. I apologize.
Okay,
So Mr. Perez moved and Mr. Connor seconded, so we do have a motion to approve. So right now,
Okay,
we can either vote on it up or down, or if it's
Can
pleasure.
somebody, can we just amend?
Or you could move to amend, just to separate them out.
You could just pull one of them out if that's the amendment, right?
okay, so can I make a motion to amend this item to pull out the project manager for the comprehensive socio-economic diversity plan, pull it off?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to do that and vote on the others
I'll second it.
and pull this out.
Who's the second?
Mr. King.
Okay. Any discussion? Mr. Ford?
Well, now we're voting. I want to know what I'm voting on. Am I voting on the amendment to?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. To pull this
Yeah.
one position out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Ford?
Mrs. Black,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
No.
Mrs. Jones,
For clarity, we're pulling it out to vote on it separately from the
We're
others.
voting
correct.
to pull it out.
Okay, yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
No.
Mrs. Fay Robinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Thurman,
Yes,
Dr. Wingate,
That's fine, yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes.
Motion passes.
So
Okay,
now
so-
we vote on the original.
Well, they're now separated out, so,
Voting on the SO
You got,
first.
you have two.
yes, sir.
and then the project manager separated out.
Yes, sir.
So,
I think there are actually four.
There's actually
So it's
four.
three. There's
Three besides this one.
Well, so you've got the main motion, and then this one's separate. So you have two items. You have the main motion, and then this one is outside from it.
okay,
So which one are we voting on now?
We go back to the main motion.
That's what I thought, yeah.
okay. Does everybody understand?
Yeah, so we're voting on all but the one.
Correct.
All right, do we need a new motion?
No, sir.
We just
Okay.
need to vote.
Okay, all right, okay.
Mrs. Black,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Fay Robinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Sermon,
Yes.
Dr. Wingate,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Now, motion to approve the project manager position?
I make a motion to approve the project manager position.
Second.
Any discussion? Rhonda, your light's still on. Do you-
Oh, no, I'm good.
Any discussion? None?
Yeah,
Joe?
I want to hear the opposition to the position.
Ms. Thurman, you want to speak to that?
Well, I voted against the plan, so it's crazy to vote against for a project manager to manage a program that I just voted against, so it doesn't make sense to me to do that. So
So,
I'm voting against it. Well, I voted against the program.
no, I
so-
understand you.
Okay,
So
okay.
no other opposition to the,
Well, I got some lights on, so let's.
okay.
Ms. Robinson?
Well, I just want, for clarity, the money is it's a grant, and it can only be used for this.
We wrote the grant to include this position. It's
Okay.
a two-year grant that'll fund this position.
And then it will be reevaluated.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Connor?
So we've, I guess clarity again, we've already approved this position. So if we don't do this second part,
We've already approved the funding
Or,
for
sorry, the
this
funding, yeah.
position. So yes, if this doesn't get 6 votes, we're back, we're
the,
gonna reevaluate.
the thing we voted on is defunct. Okay.
Okay. Okay, no more lights. Ms. Ford?
Mrs. Black,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Fay Robinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Sermon,
No.
Dr. Wingate,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Okay, takes us down to the LEA compliance report. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
No discussion? No lights are on. Ms. Ford?
Okay, just one second. Mr. Perez, who seconded it, please?
Oh, I did.
Connor?
I believe Mr. Perez was the motion and I was the
Oh, you-
second. Is that correct?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's what I need to know, the second.
I blanked out somewhere. I
Thank
think
you.
that might be correct, yes.
Okay. Which one are we on?
See, even Sherry blanked out, and she's always on it.
Okay, where'd it go? Hold on.
8A2.
Okay, I got it. Ready.
The compliance report.
Mrs. Black,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Fay Robinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Sermon,
Yes.
Dr. Wingate,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Agreement for funds of excellence for our turf fields. Need a motion?
So moved.
Motion.
It should be
Second.
those two.
Second.
I do want to say something.
So I have, Mr.
Mr.
Connor,
Perez?
Mr. Connor, motion, and Mrs. Sermon second.
No,
Is
that's
that-
what
No,
Mr.
Mr.
King.
Mr. King and Ms.
King.
Thurman second.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Mr. King, okay,
Okay.
sorry.
And Mr. Perez got a couple lights on.
So just a comment to the public at large. This is due to a donation of a very generous corporation here in our region. And I just want to encourage publicly that every corporation that wants to truly support public education to this degree can also, I don't know why we're not mentioning the corporation, so I'm staying quiet about that. I'm sure, can I say that? So US Express has contributed, and I am positive that there are both competitors of US Express and other businesses in our region that want to participate in this way, providing excellent facilities for all of our students in every one of our schools. So thank you to US Express and their team that came up with this. Thank you to all of those that helped work that out, and thank you to every future corporation that wants to participate in the well-being and success of our students and their athletic fields.
Mr. Perez sounds like a financial development person. Mr. Carr?
That's awesome. I just wanted to say thank you as well. Like it takes an absolute village, army, whatever you want to say, to raise children and to support your community is fabulous. And I will also, as Marco said, don't stop there. If anybody wants to tour the Red Bank locker room, I'd love to address some issues there from a donor. So thank you.
Ms. Thurman?
Yes. I want to say again how smart I think these people were for choosing the two schools that they chose. Also, I'm just really excited about getting this done for the Soddy Daisy community. I did ask the question earlier if the bids had been sent out, and they said no, not until we make this vote. They can't be done. Is that correct? So as soon as that's done, I guess will it come back to us for us to approve the bid? Then it will come back to us, just so people will know the process. It will come back to us for us to approve the bid, and then they can start work. But the work, you say, Robert, you didn't think would be until next year, maybe we would, when,
Once you all approve it, we'll fast track it. We'll push for time. We'd like to get those fields installed, by, mid-August, probably best case scenario right now. It's on the weather. If it stays dry, like it's been staying dry, it's pretty easy work. But, there'll be some design work on both fields, and there's been some preliminary looks, just from our internal team already, so we kind of got a head start on some of that. So
okay.
it should move along pretty quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. King?
I'd also like to thank US Express. They're not just buying into the athletic processes of Hamilton County Schools. They've joined in our Future Ready Institutes. They're working in our District 9 and District 10 with the Logistics Institute. They've provided a large amount of electrical, computer equipment, wiring. So they're becoming a very positive partner. So thank you, US Express.
Okay. Ms. Robinson?
Well, I too want to thank US Express. I've met the family, and that they are great people, and there's probably so much that they have done that it isn't even known. So my thanks.
Okay. Ms. Ford?
Aye. Mrs. Black?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Faye Robinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Thurman?
Yes.
Dr. Wingate?
Yes.
Chairman Smith?
Yes. So I saw Commissioner Highlander and Pastor sneak back in back there, so welcome. We'll have to get Pastor Highlander to take up an offering for us so we can build some more turf fields. Okay. Thank you. Exceptional Education, MOU, Blue Cross Blue Shield Project Search, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Thurman?
Can we tell what this is? I think this is a wonderful program. I think she probably left, but I think this is an absolutely wonderful program with the better things that we do. Can you explain to the people that didn't
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
that?
It's a work-based learning partnership for our students with exceptionalities, and we've worked with Blue Cross Blue Shield for a number of years. They're still a partner, but because of kind of their shift in workforce, brought on Erlanger also to be a partner. So it's an opportunity for those students to be able to, last year in high school, to get workforce development experience. Actually, I believe they go through 3 rotations with different departments, so get a lot of different experiences. Ultimately, a number of them end up actually getting employed in one of those departments by Blue Cross, and we hope the same for Erlanger. As I said earlier today, like if you haven't been to one of the graduations this spring, it's awesome experience. And so thankful for Blue Cross to continue to partner with us in this, and thankful that Erlanger has stepped up and decided to join.
Okay. Anyone else? Ms. Ford?
Mrs. Black?
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Fay Robinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Thurman,
Yes.
Dr. Wingate,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Gateway Building Sales Agreement, motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. King?
Yeah, so as we understand it, Mr. Bennett, everything's okay except that they might retain occupancy for a short time?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Ms. Ford, no more lights?
Mrs. Black,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Fay Robinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Thurman,
Yes.
Dr. Wingate,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. So we takes us down to board policies. Those are all first read tonight, so we're not to vote anywhere there. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we got some announcements. Ms. Jones just spoke to earlier the two very important facilities meeting on the 20th and the 27th. Why don't you explain again, Ms. Jones, because some folks may not have been here or been tuned in, so.
So we are having facilities committee meetings on Monday, November 20th, and also on November 27th at 6 p.m. here in the boardroom. We will have allow public comment at the end of our meeting, excuse me, and the process for signing up to speak for that public comment time will be the same as it is for regular board meetings, 30 minutes prior to the board meeting. So if you come between 5:30 and 6, and Sherry's very particular about that. So 5:30 to 6, not 5:29, not 6:01. But 5:30 to 6, you can sign up. Any individuals that sign up during that time will be allowed to speak at the end of that that first meeting. Anything shared with us from the community at that time, we will discuss at the next meeting on the 27th, and then of course on the 27th at our final meeting that we talk about. Our next meeting that we will talk about the committee facilities as well. The discussion will go in the manner that it did in the, I don't want to say tour, but in the community meeting schedule. So we will address the first clusters and then move into the first four
three
clusters.
meetings.
And then go into the second set, the second set of clusters.
Can we tell the names of the schools so people?
So I tried to look that up. Rhonda, hold on. I had it up from when Kate. So initially it was East Side and East Lake Elementary. So that was it was Expand East Side and East Lake Elementary. So that was Clifton Hills, East Lake Elementary, East Side. And then there was the Renovate Gateway into a flagship campus. And then there was new elementary school for Hickson and Red Bank. Yeah.
Have the combination of Delwood
And then
Brainerd.
Delwood Middle and reinvest in Brainerd High School, and then there was replace Soddy Daisy Middle, and then there was Howard Connect, and Howard Connect, and then the last
Addition
meeting
of
was
Thrasher.
Signal Mountain with Thrasher. So that was the rotation.
So the first meeting will be.
So the first meeting we'll talk about expand East Side and East Lake Elementary, renovate Gateway Flagship, and new elementary school for Hickson and Red Bank communities, and then if we have time, we'll roll over into the investment in Brainerd High and Brainerd High School, which includes Delwood and Brainerd. If not, that will roll over into the second meeting. We'll start there. Then it will be replaced Soddy Daisy Middle, Howard and Howard Connect, and Signal Mountain.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jones. Mr. King? Yep.
And I guess I asked Ms. Jones this, so when we talk about the gateway expansion, are we going to be giving ideas of who's going in the gateway, I guess?
It's at the pleasure of the board.
All right.
I mean, we know what was recommended, but I mean, it's at
Right.
the pleasure of the
Right.
board, what we
Okay.
would discuss there.
And Dr. Robertson's gonna get all that information that's
Yes, sir.
been gathered, that'll be to us early next week sometime. Okay. Other announcements, November 22 through 24, Thanksgiving holidays. And then Thursday, December 14th at 4:30, our next work session. And then our quarterly session immediately following that. Anything else?
Can we?
Go
Hold
ahead,
on one
Ms.
second.
Jones.
Just, I know this went out in a media notice and for public notice. I know Sherry did this, but just going on record, for anyone who was like, why are they meeting today and not next week? it was publicly announced and decided that we will move our meeting to this Thursday because next Thursday we will be doing the business of the school board at the Tennessee School Board Association and Leadership Conference and Convention. So that's why we're not meeting at our normal meeting time, because we have to go to our state meeting next week. So I want to make sure, because somebody's going to come back and say, that's not when they meet.
So about this time next week, we'll be having dinner with Scott Bennett, I think.
Courtesy of Bennett's credit card. All right.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.